This is another video brought to you by the Ichiban Productions. Like, comment, subscribe. So welcome everyone, happy days are here again. I cannot believe it, it's next gen season and we're here with a review and a comparison for the next gen Xbox controller. Oh, I'm well excited. Now, if you watched my previous video looking at my first impressions of the Xbox Series X, you know how I managed to get one of these bad boys, so I won't bore you with that again. So I'm going to try my best to keep this short and talk about the controller and compare it to what's come previously to it and trying to figure out what is the best Xbox controller for you. Cheeky cut, here we go, we've got all the controllers in screen, so what you could do if you really wanted to do it is you could pause it and see if you could name them, but in case you don't want to do that, let's get straight into it. So this is the next gen version of the very highly respected and loved and adored Xbox controller. Then we've got ourselves an Xbox One X controller, but then again it's pretty much like all the Xbox One controllers in itself. This one of course is the Project Scorpio edition, you can see it written down there. On this side we've got the Xbox One S controller. Again, it's not specialized for that particular console. The Xbox One controllers work on all of the Xbox Ones, but this one's the one that came with the S. And of course we've got ourselves an Elite Series 2 controller. Check out my channel for a massive in-depth review of that one. It is personally my favorite controller of all time. The question is, does this one come close? Stick around and we'll find out. Straight off the bat, I want to say you pretty much can't go wrong with any of these controllers. They are all superb controllers, but they've all got their own nuances. I'm not going to go in depth about the original Xbox One controllers because I'm guessing you've all used them at one time or another. But what I will do is talk about the differences, which is better for which. So I'll give you my opinions. So let's start at the beginning. Let's take a look at the next gen Xbox controller. Ooh, it's a thing of beauty in your hands. Immediately the first thing that I can feel when I pick it up, hopefully you can see it there maybe, it is a texturized grip around the back and texturized grips on the triggers here. Now that's simply not present on the normal Xbox controller. You can see how that's all smooth and they're glisteningly smooth there, whereas these ones of course are textured and you've got a textured grip around the side. Immediately this controller feels much more like the Elite controller, which of course has got the rubberized grip. You can see it much clearly there. This is rubberized, this one is sort of plastic. It's texturized plastic as opposed to rubber. Now plus a negative about that, personally I think you're gonna, if you're one of those people who use those rubberized grips and end up finding that you end up with sweaty palms and stuff like that, you're simply not going to have it there, so that's a big plus for it. Other big difference we've got here is you've got that share or the social media button here. You press it and that brings up all the recording options and stuff like that. It's simply not present on any of the other controllers. On this one, please don't mistake it, that's for your profiles. So you click that and it changes the different user set profiles for the controller. That does not do that on here. You can set up user specific profiles for this controller on the Xbox Series X, so you can do that, but you'd have to go into the app to change them, whereas with this one is a quick press button there. The other big thing I guess is standing out to you of course is the new D-pad they've got there. It's sort of a cross between of course the traditional D-pad and the one that came with the Elite controllers. It's kind of like the best of both worlds. Me personally, you know what, I actually prefer this. Because it is the best of both worlds. You got the multi-directional feel to the circle part of it, but then you've obviously got the defined D-pad on there. It's a really nice choice. It's a really nice addition. I'm going to have to give a big thumbs up to Microsoft for that one. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of similarities between this controller and the old ones, and I guess Microsoft took the old "it ain't broke, don't fix it" approach to it. Now, the guide buttons are pressy buttons on here, whereas of course it's more of a clicky button on there. A bit more of a premium feel there, I will say. The thumbsticks, they feel very much like the old thumbsticks. I don't think there's been much done to those. Of course, with the Elite ones, you've got the variable stick tension there, which means you can adjust the tension to your liking. At the bottom, it's the same setup as all the other ones. You've obviously got the microphone input there and then the traditional accessory port at the bottom. One thing I will say with this, of course, it's the glorious USB. I hope you like that wrestling reference there. We've got the USB-C port at the top, which is exactly the same as the USB-C port on the Elite controller. But then remember this one, this was the disgusting micro USB. Oh, gross, no one likes that. This one, of course, has the best. Now, it's not got any inbuilt batteries, and we can argue to the pros and cons for that. Me personally, I'm on both sides of the court, yeah, both sides of the court. I do like the way you can put rechargeable batteries in here, or the rechargeable battery pack, and make it that sort of rechargeable battery, but you can drop the double A's in there, but that's all a bit of a faff. There is something nice about the having it all built in here. I will say, actually, all joking aside, I've charged this once. We've had this for a couple of months now. Maybe that series, I'm not the hugest of biggest of gamers on the Xbox at the moment. I have been playing my PS4 an awful lot, but this seems to have really lasted well. So it's not necessarily the biggest negative that you'd expect. Of course, one of the final edition, this controller does have Bluetooth as well as its wireless connection to the Xbox. So you can connect this up to your phone and operate as a Bluetooth controller, or your PC, I suppose, if you've got the adapter. It is a ridiculously nice controller. I'm not going to lie. It is really, really good. But I suppose to sum up, what I really need to do is talk about where does it lie in the scale from the traditional Xbox controller to the absolute elite. Where does it fit in with that? I would say if you've just used to using the standard Xbox controller, this will feel like a massive step up, a huge superior one. And I cannot believe it, because on face value you look at it and you think, oh, it's pretty much the same. It's not. This is night and day better than the original ones. The texturized grip around the back and on the triggers is such a massive, nice addition. I think it's absolutely amazing, and for me alone, that makes it a massive step up. The controller, you know, they haven't gone revolution with it like the PS5 have, but then again, if it ain't broke, you don't need to fix it. This is really, really nice and will feel like a big step up if you're used to using one of these. In saying that, I think you know what I'm going to say. This is by far the superior controller, but then of course it would be, because I think this is like 3 times as expensive as this. This retails at about 50 quid. This is close to 150 quid, so you would expect it to be considerably better. They are not as it's really, to be honest with you, it's not the hugest of step ups as I would have expected. I mean, the step from that to that is huge, but from that to that isn't as massive as you'd expect. This has tons of customization, so please don't be under any false illusions. This is significantly better because of the customizations. However, you know, I love the texturized part of it. I think that makes it feel a lot more premium. This, I think, is the best controller in the world for any console under any circumstances. So if you've got the money for this, I would highly recommend you go for this. But you won't go far wrong if you use the new next gen controller. It's nice. It's really, really nice. Am I going to use this instead of this? Probably not. But if I've got someone else playing with me, you know, I'm going old school retro split screen, this certainly won't feel as they won't feel as downgraded as they would do using one of these original controllers. You know what time it is. It wouldn't be a review if I didn't put a star rating on it. So after using this for a while, I did actually use it for the purposes of this review, even though there's no batteries in it at the moment. So I can give you a star rating, and in this case we're going to give it 4 stars out of 5 stars. That's a wicked 4-star. Why am I deducting a star for it? I think the problem is once you've had this premium controller in your hand, it's very difficult for something to quite live up to it. It would be unfair to say this is a 5-star. I suppose if you're talking about the price, that would be a 5-star controller, but I'm not particularly interested in the price in this comparison. I'm talking about what's the better controller for you. If you can, absolutely go for the Elite controller. This is a nice substitute, it's a nice second best, but you know what they say, if you can afford a Ferrari, you're not going to go buying a Skoda. No offense if you've got a Skoda, but seriously, if you can afford this, I would definitely go for this. You'll have a better gameplay experience overall. With that in mind, hopefully I've answered all your questions. You know, if you've got any questions or comment, please post them below. I love reading them and I always answer anybody's questions or comments. It means the world to me if you take your time to post something. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. I love the thumbs up. It means more people can see my content. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, so give it that thumbs up. It would mean even more to me if you press that subscribe button. I'm so thankful of everybody that subscribed to my channel, so please press the subscribe button. Do it now. Do it now. You don't want to miss out what's coming up next. I've got a cheeky review of something that I personally looked on YouTube and not found a single review for. Maybe I've not searched long enough, and granted I didn't do it today, but I did search yesterday and couldn't find anything. So that should be coming up in the next few days. So you don't want to miss out on that one. It wouldn't be an Ichiban production video if we didn't end how we always end. Look after yourself, take care of the people around you, and most importantly, stay out of trouble.